Hi, I'm Aubrey, and this is for my public communication class at Lebec Community College. Today I will be demonstrating how to take a good portrait. I've been taking pictures for 4 years in my photojournalism class at the high school, and I've been selected for Photo of the Year, won many monthly contests within the state of Kansas, and I'm the photo editor for the Booster Redux in the Purple and White, the newspaper and yearbook at the Pittsburgh High School. To take an amazing picture, some preparations are involved. You'll need to be able to prepare your portrait in advance, adjust the subject and the camera settings, and edit a picture well. These 3 main steps will lead you to a great picture every time. The first step of taking a good portrait is to find a good place to take the picture. Some examples of a good place would be time. You can't go at night because it'll be way too dark and you can't be able to take a picture in the dark. You can't see anything. If you go around noon, the lighting will be way too harsh and the subject will get overlit, overexposed, and be way too bright. You can't go while it's raining because your camera will get soaked and it'll be too dark out. Things like that are things to keep in mind while you're taking the picture. Another thing to keep in mind is backgrounds. If you are taking a picture and there's a bunch of houses in the back or cars or streets or anything like that, the normal person would look straight at the street or straight at the houses instead of looking at the person in the picture, which is what you want while you're taking portraits of people that you're being paid to take. When you are against a plain background like this, for example, it's a lot easier to look straight at the person that you're taking the picture of instead of everything going on behind them. So here I have an example of this. This is a picture that I took of my sister a couple of weeks ago. You can see that this is the bad picture clearly because there's a lot of houses in the background, there's a wire. It's just not a very good picture overall. But when you go to the next picture, it's the same outfit, it's the same person, everything like that, but the picture looks a lot better because the background is a plain white wall with it's a bricks, but it's plain white, so your eye goes directly to her instead of this picture where there's tons of trees. Oh, sorry, I did that again. Tons of trees and houses and things like that. My second tip on taking a good picture is adjusting your camera settings right before you take the picture and posing the model and things like that. So some things when you're adjusting your camera settings are like making sure the shutter speed, which is how fast the camera takes the picture, is fast enough to where if someone's moving, you'll catch their whole hand, not like a blurry piece of it, which I'll show you in a second. Or making sure that your ISO, which is how much light gets into the picture, is correct. If it's too high, the picture will be too bright. If it's too low, the picture will be too dark. You have to make sure that it is about the same as what the naked eye would see when you're taking the picture. You'll want to make sure that your SD card is empty. Your SD card is what holds the pictures while you're taking pictures, and then you can transfer them into your computer and edit them from there. Make sure that the card is empty and doesn't have any other pictures on it. I know I've taken pictures a couple times with other events or portraits in my card, and I have to delete all of those in order to have room for other pictures that I'm taking right then. You also need to be able to pose your model and let them know if they are supposed to be smiling, if they're supposed to be serious, if they are standing up, sitting down. Just make sure they generally know what they are supposed to be looking at, so you're not wasting their time and you're not wasting your time. According to World Nomads, you should be able to see the eyes of the person that you're taking a picture of. And that's a general rule of thumb that you should follow, is if you can't see their eyes, it's probably not going to be a very good picture, so keep that in mind as well. I'm going to show you right here 2 pictures of good camera settings and bad camera settings. So this is clearly the bad camera setting. You can barely see her face because the shadows are so dark. The pom-pom that she has is not fully still. It's kind of like blurry over here because she was moving it, and so my camera wasn't able to capture the moment as quickly as it needed to. But here, all of the pom-pom strings are fully frozen, and her face is a lot brighter. The vibrancy is a lot clearer. You can just tell that it's a better picture because I took the time to make sure my camera settings were correct and make sure that the picture would look good. My third and final point in taking a great portrait is when you take the picture and you edit the picture. So while you're taking the picture, there are a few things to keep in mind, like making sure that your model looks comfortable, their shoulders are relaxed, their necklace isn't over here, it's like more in the center of your neck. Make sure that their hair isn't like wild and all over the place. And then once you do actually take the picture, you're going to want to edit it to make sure that everything looks as good as it possibly can. I use Adobe Bridge and Spark. Adobe Bridge, according to the American Graphics Institute, helps photographers, graphic artists, and other creative professionals manage their visual assets rapidly and efficiently. Besides keeping graphic files organized and easy to find, it also includes some additional features, which are like Photoshop, which I use all the time, and you can like edit pictures, grayscale them, make sure that the vibrancy is up, the clarity, make sure that you can lighten them up a little bit if you need to. Like I said, I usually adjust the contrast, the vibrancy, which is how deep the colors are, clarity, which makes it a little bit more harsh instead of blurry. I crop pictures a lot, which usually just zooms in tighter on the person so you can see them clearer. And I'm actually going to show you 2 examples of that. So this is an example of one of my friends that I took a picture of. As you can see, the picture is really good itself, but she looks a little blue. The tones aren't as good as I usually edit my pictures. And so this is the edited version, and you can see that I made it a lot more yellow, which makes her look more human, less pale and ghostly. It looks like there's sun coming in, and it just overall really affects the picture. My second example is crop. So this is a picture cropped well. You can see her face, you can see who she's racing, and you can really tell like what's happening. Same with this. So like if this wasn't cropped so tightly, if she was all the way back here, you wouldn't be able to tell who she is. You wouldn't be able to see detail, and you can see detail in this one too. I couldn't find a picture of where I wasn't close up, but usually you would crop. I could even crop this one a little bit more tightly right there and right there, so you could, it would just zoom in a little bit more and make the focus more clear. So, in conclusion, to be able to take a portrait really well, you need to know how to adjust the subject and the camera settings, edit the picture well, and know how to take the picture. Taking portraits is really simple. It takes a while to fully understand and fully grasp what you're doing, but after you keep these 3 things in mind, taking portrait photography is fully within your reach.